Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Boy, slow news day today, eh? If only there were anything to talk about. I gotta tell you, obviously, we're gonna get into the riots over there in Commie, California, but I can't remember the last time that Stephen and I actually watched Fox News, like because we wanted to watch Fox News. Stephen, can you recall? I just can't.
No, I mean, I've turned it on just for like breaking news kind of things. And then I even turned on CNN because I was just curious how they were going to be covering this. So I was going back and forth. It was interesting.
That lasted like 5 minutes and we were like, all right, Dana Bash, we've had enough of your hack. Okay, we don't want to hear what you have to say anymore. Oh, President Trump is fanning the flames. So, but we were actually, we were very, very much like, what the hell is going on and how did we get here? So, obviously the Trump administration is going in and, doing what he said he was going to do, which includes deporting illegal criminals. And they were arresting a bunch of, I would say, the worst of the worst foreign criminals in an ICE raid over there in Los Angeles. And we've got someone by the name of Quang Chan Fan. Yeah, nailed it. Rolando Enriquez, Lionel Sanchez, Armando Ordaz, Francisco Sanchez, all very American sounding names. So I just want to tell you who these people are. Okay. One of them is an illegal from Vietnam with a criminal history that includes a conviction for second-degree murder. One of them, a 55-year-old illegal alien from the Philippines who was convicted of burglary, sexual penetration with a foreign object, and assault with intent to commit rape. Lovely people, right? One of them, a 55-year-old Mexican national with a criminal history that includes discharging a firearm at an inhabited dwelling, vehicle battery on spouse or cohabitant, willful cruelty to a child, driving under the influence, assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and personal use of a firearm. 44-year-old from Mexico. Here's another one. Sexual battery, receiving known or stolen property, and petty theft. And the list goes on. Grand theft larceny, possession of a prohibited weapon, Ecuadorian national with a convicted of conspiracy to possess 5 kilograms or more of cocaine with intent to distribute. These are the people, as we walk through the epic record damages that these dummies in Los Angeles are doing for their own freaking city, okay? I want you to keep in mind all of the damage, all of the harmed officers. As we walk through this, keep in mind, these criminals are the people who started this. The city of Los Angeles was so upset, so mad, so sad about losing a man who murders, a man who burglarizes, who sexually penetrates with a foreign object and tries to commit rape. These are very bad people. These are like, I'm not just saying I think they're all criminals, right? Because when you enter illegally into a country, you are already a criminal. The first footstep that you step on our soil, you are already a criminal. But take that out of the equation, okay? Pretend that that wasn't the case. These are really bad men. Criminals. And the city of LA is like, oh, please don't deport them. They're our friends. We love criminals. The Democrats are just the party of criminals at this point. So all of those men are what caused all of this destruction over the weekend. You've got Mexican flags being waved. You've got cars burning. They're setting the cars on fire while they're waving Mexican flags. And I keep wondering why, if you love, I've not been able to get this question answered rationally. If you love Mexico so much, why don't you just go back? Why is it a chore to get you into law enforcement possession and just get you to go back where you came from. If you love your Mexican flag so much and you love your home country so much, you could just self-deport. It would save us a lot of time and a lot of trouble and a lot of money if you love that country so much. I have not been able to get a good answer. Now, it was not just illegal aliens in the streets. There were, of course, Antifas like, oh, we want in on this. So you had these Antifa thugs that were wearing masks, and they had Palestinian flags as well. So you got your Mexican flags, you got your, South American, Latin American flags, and you've got your Palestinian flags. Make it make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you've got at least the reports were that at least 24 officers were hurt because of all of these confrontations. It's just, this is America. This is the streets of America in 2025, a direct result of Joe Biden's 4-year policy of open border, just letting people in, letting strangers into the country, letting people overstay their visas. This is this man in the minivan. He just did all these loops over and over and over again to keep to keep people away. I mean, this is unbelievable. By the way, a police chopper ultimately hunted him down and arrested him. Then you had rioters, okay? Specifically, this one rioter standing on top of a burning cop car, just holding a Mexican flag. That's not an American flag. That's the whole damn point. I mean, this is unbelievable. And as I get into how these Democrat lawmakers are handling this, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you think that the majority of American people support that? Do you think that the majority of American people are like, oh, President Trump is doing literally what got him elected, what he said he was going to do? And the city of Los Angeles is throwing an epic temper tantrum about that. Like, do you think that regular, average, everyday Americans are going to look at this destruction and be like, yeah, that's reasonable? Oh, President Trump was deporting illegal criminals. Oh, yeah, that's reasonable. Destroy your city, you dumbasses. Put American flags, burn American flags. Set American flags on fire. I just don't see the American people thinking that this is reasonable at all. And you've got LA Mayor Karen Bass. You may be wondering, where was she? Well, she's now being accused of usurping the chain of command to issue a stand down order to law enforcement looking to try to, corral these protests in its earliest stages. So you wonder why? Why would California want this to happen? Why would California want to keep these illegal criminals? Well, remember, in the next census, if they lose all of these illegals, they might lose more House seats than the ones that they are already projected to lose, which is, I believe, 4. So if Trump actually deports these people, they'll get less representation in Congress, and we can't have that. So we need to keep the guys who are raping and murdering people. Like, it's unbelievable. And I want to play Maxine Waters, who, I don't know, I think she's, they're saying the quiet parts out loud now. And she basically gave the entire game away by calling, she's just like, oh, I know. Okay, so they're illegal aliens. Okay, so they're criminals. Okay, but like, can we just make them citizens already? Watch.
My message to Donald Trump is you are a cruel human being, and that you are using the poorest people in the land, the most vulnerable people in the land, to promote your politics. You are wrong. We know what this is all about. We have people who are immigrants here who are trying to seek a better living, who've come from places where they have experienced this kind of thing that he's doing here today. People who work every day, people who are paying taxes, who are raising their families, who are supporting education. They should not be treated this way. They should be given an opportunity to tell their story whom they are and why they're here, and ask the United States to please do what the Constitution allows us to do, and that is give them consideration for having citizenship here.
Oh, do what the Constitution calls them to do. Oh, Stephen, does the Constitution apply for illegal immigrants?
No, it absolutely does not.
They get constitutional due process and constitutional rights because they illegally came on our soil?
That would be pretty stupid, wouldn't it?
It would be really stupid. Do you know of any other country who tolerates this shit?
I don't know. I mean, but I love that too. Is remember I can't remember who it was, but one of the illegals tried to get a gun. I think it was the guy that firebombed everyone, and they're like, "Yeah, you don't have the second. You don't have 2A rights because you're illegal."
Yep.
It works without the First Amendment too.
Right.
All of them.
Right. Yeah. No, you don't get to come in here and claim that you have rights to our founding documents when you're illegally here. I mean, it's just like, it's such a freaking joke. It's such a joke that people even think that we should be required to do this. We should be required to just like Maxine dumbass Waters. We should just be required to let people come. Well, let them tell their stories. Well, they're just trying to work. I don't care. Like, I don't care. You guys have pushed this issue so far that I don't care. And all you're doing with this shit is radicalizing me even more. All of them have to go back. All of them have to go back. I don't care if they've been here 20 years. I don't care if they have children. These are all decisions that they made for themselves. Why should that be my problem? Why should it be my problem? I don't care that they now have to make the decision of whether or not their 8-year-old, 4-year-old, 2-year-old child stays in the custody of the United States or returns home with them to Honduras or Venezuela or Mexico. I don't care. I don't care, because you are bringing your third world shithole into my country, and you're waving Mexican flags and you're throwing rocks at cop cars. I mean, some people are going to die if they don't get this under control. And I'm supposed to care that someone has a story to tell? I don't care. We're past that point, Maxine. We are past that point. Especially from a party who, what is it? We're in year 5 of them talking about the terrible insurrection of 2021. No, we're in year 4. The terrible insurrection of 2021. Oh my gosh, it was an incitement. It was an insurrection. Are you joking? So I want to play President Trump's statement on, he's made several of them, but here is one of them that, it's like, guys, we voted for law and order is what we are going to get. Here's President Trump on this.
Even if you're not planning to invoke the Insurrection Act, you still plan to send troops?
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden and his auto pen.
So President Trump, this is it, guys. He has to send a message to these people, has to send a message to LA Mayor Karen Bass, has to send a message to California Governor Gavin Newsom, who is refusing to cooperate with President Trump. In fact, Newsom was like, "Oh, borders are Tom Homan. Come arrest me. What did you come arrest me?" You know what? You deserve it. You deserve it. I hear it's expensive as hell to live in Los Angeles, California. I hear it's expensive as hell to live as a legal citizen in any place in California. In fact, some people live there when they shouldn't because they have their mommies and daddies paying their bills. Not that I know anyone like that. And so, you have a duty, you have a responsibility to your citizens who are paying ridiculous costs to live in that state. You have a duty to protect them. And instead, he's like, "Oh, why don't you arrest me? I'm going to let these criminals on the streets. I'm going to make law enforcement less safe." Until what? One of them is killed? So you've got President Trump. He brought in the National Guard. You've got, of course, the left. I wish we had some of this. You've got the left crying about it. "Oh my gosh, President Trump is taking it too far." I don't know. You tell me, because the United States president can deploy the National Guard during rebellion, unrest, and the threat of invasion. You tell me what criteria it does not meet. Because I would argue that it meets all three of that criteria to bring in the National Guard. Rebellion, I don't know. You think so? Did you see the videos that I saw? Did you see the burning cop cars? Did you see people standing on does that look like rebellion to you? Looks pretty similar to the Summer of Love back in 2020 to me. Does that look like rebellion and unrest to you? Just confronting cops in broad daylight? I mean, typically they save this shit for the dark so that they can get away more easily. In the state of California, they're like, we don't care. Who's going to stop us? We'll just do it in broad freaking daylight. It is so disgusting that these people are trying to turn our country into a hellhole, and they're doing it, remember, over criminals who are murdering, raping, burglarizing, stealing. They are rioting in the streets because they are upset that President Trump is deporting criminals who make our country less safe. And part of me wants to say, you know what? You get what you vote for. Let California burn. But I know that there are good people who are still there. So I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Do Americans deserve a country to call their own? Where they can make laws, but then make sure that everyone follows them? Or should we have open borders where we've got, drugs trafficked and sex slaves and violent crime and people standing on burning cop cars waving Mexican flags? You tell me. What else is President Trump supposed to do? You tell me. All right. There's more to this story, and we'll get into that after the break with the panel. First, I want to thank our sponsor this segment, Preborn. I have asked for an update on our campaign with Preborn. I will let you guys know on that as soon as I hear. But I don't know if you guys saw this recent report. It revealed that the abortion pill is literally 10 times more dangerous than the FDA claims. Imagine that. The FDA not doing their jobs again. They've got 11% of women experiencing serious adverse effects from the abortion pill. That is tragic, guys. The abortion pill accounts for over 60% of abortions, and with an average of over 1 million babies that are aborted annually in the United States, that's 66,000 women who will be harmed by the abortion pill this year. They tell you that this is all about women's health care. This is not about women's health care. The abortion pill is making women less safe. All right. But let me tell you about Preborn. Preborn's network of clinics saved over 67,000 babies last year. And they not only provide for the physical and emotional needs of mothers, but they are also giving them God's love. And so what Preborn is doing is really simple. They're bringing women in. They're showing them her baby on ultrasound. She's hearing the heartbeat. And in that moment, her baby's chance at life doubles. One ultrasound is $28. $140 helps to rescue 5 babies. How many babies can you save? You can go to preborn.com/Sarah. Donate securely over at preborn.com/Sarah. Joining me now, we have the dynamic duo, Matthew Marsden, BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, which you can find on YouTube at Matthew D. Marsden, along with Jaco Booyens, BlazeTV contributor, and of course, the host of The Bottom Line, the founder of Jaco Booyens Ministries. They are doing tremendous work fighting sex trafficking, not just at the border, but everywhere. So you can help them out over at helpjbm.org. Happy that both of you are with me today.
Thank you.
If you might just, if I may, very quickly before we get back into what's going on, if you thought before, I like that mug that says support your local ICE raids, and you hadn't already bought it yet, might I suggest that today be the day that you go to SarahMerch.com and get yourself some gear and wear it, because we need to normalize saying this as often as possible. You need to get a hat and go wear it. Get the t-shirt, go wear it out in your city. We need to normalize saying, hey, it shouldn't be controversial to get criminals who shouldn't be here out of our country. So I just thought I might suggest that today be the day that you go to SarahMerch.com and pick yours up there. We've got another one coming out. Should I tell you guys what it is?
Please. Well, you have to now.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I had a picture of it, but we're adjusting one thing, so I don't have it. It says, Trump fans deporting families together since 2025.
I want one of
So
those.
excited about that. It should be out like probably maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We're trying to get it.
These should be going off the shelves, though. Seriously, like
I
I've
know.
never wanted one more than right now.
And right now, just to prove a point, you guys can't do this in our country. And so I want to get your thoughts, and feel free to just give your thoughts generally on everything that's happened over the weekend. But I wanted to add in here that you have the president of Mexico, who is like threatening to mobilize protests over what's happening in our country, in this response to President Trump's, like, he's got these tariffs on the foreign remittances, and she's very upset about what's going on in this country, that we're actually cracking down on all of her people who are coming here, and all of the lack of doing due diligence that her country did in the people who didn't come from Mexico, who went right on through, and they were like, could I see your papers, please? And they're like, don't worry, I'm just passing through, going to the United States. And they're like, okay, it'll be our little secret. So she's very upset that this gravy train for the cartels and the coyotes has run out. And here is what she had to say over the weekend. Watch.
If necessary, we will mobilize, because we do not want taxes on the remittances sent by our fellow countrymen from the United States to Mexico.
It really is like, and that's why I tried to say when I was showing all of this in the last segment, was just like, guys, this is America. We're not supposed to see that in America, but that's what happens. That's what happens when you open the door and you open the gates and you say, shh, now's the time, which is literally what Joe Biden told them at the beginning of his presidency. So
look, it's also at least 20 years of telling everyone that America is bad. Telling everyone that America is bad and you should come in here and you should demand it because it's yours, yada, yada, yada. And this is where you get. And this is why we have to be very proud of our country. We have to defend its borders, and we have to say, listen, this is America. If you want to fly a flag, this is the weird thing, right? Number one, they're flying flags of the country that they left. Why aren't you back there? Just go.
And by the way, this is something that I have literally asked them. I have literally asked them here in Dallas at the anti-ICE protests in Dallas. They're all waving American flags. And I was just like, they were yelling in my face, Viva la Mexico. And I'm like,
waving Mexican flags, not American flags.
Sorry, yes. Yeah. And I'm like,
all right, go.
Then why are you here? Why don't you just go back? If you're so proud of that country that you want to wave that flag here, why are you staying? Makes no sense.
That makes a lot of sense to me, because I'm from this place called Africa that hasn't had borders in forever, where you can have all radical ideologies flow down into countries and intermix, because they're coming here to loot. They're coming here to siphon off, to leech off of the American taxpayer. They're coming here to drain resources, not willing to become American, to contribute to the society, to hire other Americans, to see job creation go through the roof, to stimulate the economy, to be a co-patriot defending the country, which you had to swear in front of a judge, by the way. Yep. I had to swear in front of a judge, which American-born citizens don't need to swear in front of a judge that they would defend this country, right? They're not here for that. They want that custom, that culture, that flag, but you need to pay for it. You need to underwrite my entitlement. It's an entitlement mentality. Now you got a president of another country saying, you should shut up and underwrite our entitlements. When I was in Mexico, down to the Darien Gap, they literally emptied prisons and loony bins and shipped them into the U.S. They took the homeless by busload. My own eyes. Load them in buses, drove them across the border. Literally, we became the entitlement program. We became the doll. And what they're saying to you boldly, and evil always announces itself, I'm going to wave a Mexican flag in a Texas city and you should pay for it. As a matter of fact, you should give me money to send back to Mexico. You should underwrite my dysfunctional lifestyle of burning your country down. You should underwrite me. If this is not a villain, if this is not Bane or literally, some villain calling for the society to implode itself because he's some radical ideologue, right? This is what it is. It is literally, and now you got a president calling for this, right? I say let's get tough. Let's get really tough. Let's shrink the tolerance time. Let's get super tough, like swift justice immediately. Slap more tariffs on them. Shut down all Mexican products. You know what? We don't need strawberries. We can find a way to build.
We can
grow
figure out without strawberries.
Figure it out without strawberries, okay? And mangoes that they radiate the crap out of them anyway, crossing the border, right? You want to, because that's a call for violence, is what that was.
Well, do you remember?
We're going to mobilize in your country. That's a threat.
It is.
We called this. Hang on. We called this when we were talking about the tariffs, and everyone was like, and we were like, no, it's not about that. It's about what is going on behind the scenes, about the fact that America is being raped by everybody. And to Jaco's point, Sarah, I went to South Africa. I've been to South Africa multiple times. One of the things that will shock you, and this has been years since I've been, but when I flew into Johannesburg, and I've flown into Cape Town, which is one of the most beautiful places on the planet, bar none, Cape Town.
Sure.
You go over cities of shanty towns.
10 million people.
You've never seen anything like it. Do you remember District 9?
Yeah.
It's like that because Mandela said, everyone come to Africa. And everybody went to Africa, and you cannot walk anywhere near. You know this, dude. They're all armed. Everyone's walking around
illegally.
Armed. They used to have flamethrowers underneath your car. Do you know that? Am I telling
had a car with it. Mercedes.
What?
Oh yeah.
Mercedes installed.
Oh yeah. You never stopped in South Africa.
Every member of my family, every member has been carjacked.
You never stopped at a stoplight.
You don't stop at a red light.
Ever.
There's a law. There's a
Ever.
law right now. If you're a woman after 10 p.m. at night, you do rolling stops.
No.
Yes.
100% fact.
I was there and I watched the commercial, and they have commercials for
hit the button, bud.
Shut up.
No.
Yeah. Come on, let's go.
No. So all I'm saying is, there's a model for this.
Oh no, this
is where it goes.
It's worse. That's why I said that's because it looks a lot like Africa. It looks a whole lot like Venezuela. Looks a whole lot like many different places, third world countries, right? This has to absolutely end. Like, you just end this.
Yes.
And Trump should also say, hey, by the way, little miss, I'm propped up by the narcos. Say one more word, and I'm going to send the Delta Force in, and we're going to clean the whole thing out.
We'll mobilize in your country.
Yeah, we'll sort it out, and it'll be over in 5 minutes.
Think about what we just witnessed. Truly, this is not even a movie. You see this in a movie. A president of a neighboring country just called for mobilization against American law enforcement inside America.
Can't be tolerated.
Yeah, because
the world?
Because they want our money.
Of course.
To be sent back.
Of
overseas.
course.
I mean, that's real. That's what she's saying, right? Because apparently, their largest source of foreign income is remittance.
Yes.
In Mexico. That's their largest source. By the way, over 95% of remittances to Mexico originate from the United States, with California at 33% and Texas at 15%.
Insane. Totally when you think, how do we stimulate our economy? Let the American taxpayer pay for it. But that's the whole world that does it. And that's the point. That's the point Trump is making. It's like, wait a second. Keeping stability and safety in geopolitics is one thing, but funding your dysfunction, we're not called to fund your dysfunction. No American taxpayer voted for that. Congress didn't institute a law here for us to underwrite the dysfunction of another nation. But you said something that never got enough play, ever. That president and her compadres, okay, trafficked human beings through their country, where the people were raped in her country. The women and children we interviewed on the Mexican side of the border, from Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Cuba, Venezuela, Nigeria. Heck, we intercepted 25 Turks from Turkey that were coming through Mexico. Over 60% of the women and children were sexually violated in Mexico before even crossing the border, okay? They were part of the destruction of human lives by saying, we're going to leave our back door open as long as you also walk through the front door. Because we're partnering with Sleepy Joe, right? Insane. So how do you stop this? Get tough. Like seriously tough.
And if you watch Gavin Newsom, I lived in that state for 20 years. He has been probably one of the worst politicians I have ever seen. And they've got a lot of them. They've got Pencil Neck. They've got Eric Swalwell. I mean, it is...
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy
Forget
Pelosi.
about me.
But
I mean, Joe is still at the top, though.
yeah, no, but he has managed to fail upwards over and over and over again, and I believe they're somehow related. Actually, Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi,
They are.
somehow they're related, but this is his doing. Like all this is his doing, and he's like, Trump, you can't come in here and do that. I'm like, you allowed them in. You were the one that's
Invited
responsible
them
for
in.
this. He's saying, come on in, it's great, blah, blah, blah. It's on him. Same with Karen Bass.
Oh my gosh.
Well, but again, I said this at the beginning of the show. Everyone needs to remember everything we say about this situation, about what's happening in LA right now. They are doing over literal criminals.
I know.
Murder, rape,
Meanwhile,
sexual assault.
oh,
Like these are bad freaking people.
felonies left, right, and center.
And they're like, no, don't deport the poor little criminal. Don't deport. Like, this is crazy. And you might say maybe Antifa is like, okay, well, Antifa's crazy. But to have people like the governor of a state, the mayor of a city be like, we won't we won't tolerate you rounding up our criminals and deporting them. We'd rather keep them here. Like, you guys are insane.
Because the criminals are useful subjects to them to actually bring destruction to America. It's what it is.
Right.
And I'll give you another point to that. Did you see the footage of the ICE agents leaving? The guys are throwing concrete at them, right? People are like, oh, look at that. No, he's a freedom fighter. He's fighting for freedom. And then you have the footage of the LAPD cop taking the guy down, and they're like, how dare they do that against... And I'm like...
No, it's insane.
What is going on? I mean, look, the end result here is one thing. It is chaos. What they want to do, they want the summer of love again, but the rest of the country is looking now, for the most part, and going, you're out of your mind. Like, no, they're waving the flag. There does come a point where Americans go, even the lefties, not saying the radical ones, but you know, the kind of center left are like, hang on a second, you're burning a car and you're waving a Mexican flag? No. No, I'm done.
That's why they just voted for Trump, for him to take care of this issue. Immigration was
why
at
he's
the
in the
top.
White House.
Yeah, it's at the.
He's
it was at
getting
the
more though.
top
He's
of the
getting more
list.
votes. I'll tell you this right now. There are more people right now going, hang on a minute, I'm done. Because Americans are proud people. They do love their own country. Even the loonies, they might think that they have a better way that the country's going to go. But if someone is waving a Mexican flag while there's cars on fire around them, demanding that they should be there. No.
But for perspective here,
Password.
sorry, for perspective, right? We had Americans burning American cities in the Summer of Love. It was Americans, right? So American citizens that are radicalized in two brain cells. Now you got foreigners, illegals burning American cities. And we have an American elected politician. Don't know how he survived that recall. I still don't understand how that happened. Right?
Well.
Or we do. But it's escalating in the wrong direction because Summer of Love, okay, but it was still Antifa, BLM. They were American citizens for the most part, not even from the cities where the fires happened.
Yeah.
These are foreign entities.
Yeah.
It's an invasion is what it is.
It is an invasion.
It is an invasion.
It is an invasion. And that's why, you go through, they're like, oh, Donald Trump doesn't have the right to bring in the National Guard. Oh, really? Really? This
Roll in
isn't
the
a
army.
time of rebellion, unrest, and invasion, threat of invasion? I beg to
Marines.
differ. Gosh, guys.
Bring the Marines. What are you doing? Are you scratching
I
yourself?
have a Band-Aid that keeps coming off. I'm just going to
Pull it off. Are you bleeding?
I like how
I'm
we
not
just
bleeding.
stopped for your
Well, I just wanted
Band-Aid.
to
To a girl, it's important. She has a scrape.
No, it's not a scrape.
Oh, have you
it's
got
a
a
curling
boo-boo?
iron burn.
Oh,
I do have a boo-boo, and it hurts.
Oh.
It's just a split second, and I burned myself.
well, for all watching, Sarah's going to be okay. They're going to fix it in commercial break.
Hey, at least it's not like, hey, I've got
magic.
something in my leg, I'm going to die of like sepsis or whatever. Do you remember that?
I do. I do. I still
Yeah,
have the leg,
Sarah's like,
though.
I've got something in my leg, and everyone in the comments was like, you're going to die.
Yeah, they were. I was like, am I going to be
I swear
okay?
to you. What?
Am I going to be okay? And they were like,
No.
oh, you could get
Amputation.
sepsis.
Because they read WebMD, that's why.
Like, oh no. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back with more, but we want to thank our sponsor this segment, Qualia Life. So there's one of the best aging breakthroughs of the last decade, and that is Qualia Senolytic. And here's why. So if you have like this middle-aged feeling, right? You're like just sluggish and you just feel tired all the time. Those are actually senescent cells. We call them zombie cells. Why are you looking?
Why are you looking at me? No. We were just thinking the same thing. We were waiting for it to go.
Oh my gosh.
Like you two.
Like these guys, not me. Certainly not
That's
me.
what you're thinking.
I know, we know it's what you're thinking.
We're the middle-aged guys.
Yes.
That's not what I'm thinking.
Maybe you put that on your boo-boo and it fixes your boo-boo.
Well, I was going to offer to bring you guys some, but
See?
Take some.
maybe
I'll
not.
take, see?
Maybe
We
not.
need it. I'll take it.
The accumulation of these zombie cells can lead to less energy, slower workout recovery, joint discomfort. You know, you feel old, all right? But they've got this senolytic. It's a groundbreaking clinically tested supplement. They've got all these plant-derived compounds that help your body naturally eliminate those zombie cells, and it's going to help you feel years younger in just months. My favorite part of this is that you only take it 2 days a month. You don't take it every day. I'm bad at I never remember to take pills every day. So I remember to take this because it's just 2 days a month. All right. This really, really helps. And it's helped me. It can help you guys. I'm actually, I'm 95 years old, but I feel like I'm 20 again. You can go to qualialife.com/unfiltered for up to 50% off of your purchase. Use code unfiltered, up to 50% off your purchase. And if you use code unfiltered, you're going to get an additional 15%. What are they, nuts? I think they are. You better hurry up and go there before they change their minds, because that's a crazy good deal. QUALIA life.com/unfiltered. QUALIA life.com/unfiltered.
It's definitely.
Okay, so the question is, because we were just talking about this off air, does this qualify as domestic terrorism?
I think so.
100%.
Yeah.
According to me, I can't even stand. I think, and look, yes, I love the Constitution before you get all rattled there in web world. But for me, how much I love this country, if you set the flag on fire, you're not an American, man. You got to go away somewhere. You just.
I
can't
listen.
even-
Can we add an amendment that's just like, if you burn the American flag, you're giving us the right to deport you?
In the military, you can't even let the flag touch the ground when you. I mean,
I know.
What?
I know. And I'm not, yes, you have the freedom to do all these things. But I just think, if you're going to burn it, why are you here? We should just do you a favor and give you a one-way ticket out of here.
Well, you can't get dragged across the concrete
no, it's
with your face in the floor.
Look, it's terrorism. It is absolute terrorism. For me, it's domestic. It's because it will escalate real quickly to violence and people and American citizens getting hurt. They wouldn't think for it. You think they're going to think for 2 seconds to defend an American that's in their way? That's not like, come on now, man.
By the way, look, this is the same thing that's going on in the UK, but they're getting it with, it's the Palestinian flag, the Palestinian flag that they fly. And again, over there, it's an invasion. They know what they're doing. It's going on all over the world, Sarah, but in different ways. They're trying to undermine Western culture.
Yeah.
That's what it is at the end of the day. And this is, we've spoken about this over and over and over again on this show, and you get called a conspiracy theorist and all this, but they've been flooding us with, well, we know why the Democrats have been doing it, because they've been flooding votes in. It's not people, it's votes, right, for them, because that's all they think about.
Redistricting, the whole thing, it's escalates.
And that's certainly the way what they're doing in California, because they're giving them driver's licenses. We know they're not asking them to produce ID when they vote. So what does that do? That changes the whole voting system in the United States of America, and that is treasonous.
I think I can share this if I'm not supposed to. I apologize to the friends who I'm about to share something.
Ooh.
But I was in DC last week. A friend of mine, their technology company has been called in by multiple departments, right? And they are extending the work that Doge does, but on different levels, right? 500 million 500 million Americans. We don't have 500 million Americans, but there's 500 million Americans claiming Medicare, Medicaid. Okay? They took a 10-year snapshot. Practically our whole deficit came from one element of corruption. One element. And you have thousands of elements of corruption. They're going through it now, going, who knew, because someone always knows, who signed off on it, and those roads lead to the House and the Senate.
Of course.
This is what it is. And so, I mean, gigantic. And we know with those is fraud, but it's in so many levels on places you don't look. And those are the same people that sit like fat cats in seats of power, and they go, dysfunction is actually good for them. Dysfunction is a great distraction. This is why the Romans would throw the gladiator games. If they wanted to pass laws in Rome, they would throw the games, they would feed the people meat and let people kill each other while they rob them blind on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, I want to bring in here Terry Moran from ABC News, who was suspended after he posted this I think he was drunk, honestly. If you look at the time of this, it was 12:06 a.m. That he posted this. The thing about Stephen Miller is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpist movement and translate them into policy, but that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He's a world-class hater. You can see this just by looking at him, because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. Like, what a weirdo. Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred only a means to an end. And that end is his own glorification. He's
Definitely a few margaritas.
He's drunk. That's his spiritual nourishment. And so he posted it and then deleted it, but not before screenshots were taken, because, there's no deleting what happened. And now he is suspended from ABC, just in case you needed a reminder that you don't hate the media enough. But it's like, they're burning LA over criminals who are being deported, and this guy's like, Trump is a world-class hater.
You go after Stephen Miller, who is a patriot.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, it is insane. It is insane. And you would think, and this was one of my frustrations, and we've said it on the show a lot. Do not think because we have the presidency and the House and the Senate that it just auto-corrects. It doesn't. There's a mindset that over decades have crept into culture here, that that mindset's going to take time. Well, there's a mindset that said, why can't they steal here? Why can't they set our cities on fire? Why can we not underwrite their madness?
Well, this is to the point, Sarah. We were having a conversation the other day that kind of got, I'd say, a little bit animated when our friend Eric was here. And what we were trying to say, myself and Sarah, is that, look, we have massive, massive problems, and you have to get them fixed. And we are seeing the government moving forward in a way that, although they're being blocked on multiple avenues, we're seeing them do a course correction. Now, for some people, it's not enough. For some people, it's too much and they don't want to spend. But there comes a point where, as you just said, how are they going to afford to bring in something that can root out the corruption? Well, you've got to spend. I hate the spending, but the reality is we are looking at a president that is doing his best. So if ever, as you said, Sarah, there's a time to kind of go, well, all right, we've got to trust him a little bit on this, that's where we are right now.
If you think of a business rescue, if you go in and you do a business rescue, you identify a company and you go, hey, I can really turn that company to become profitable, right? If we do X, Y, Z. There is no business rescue where you go in and say, you know what, now we're just not spending any money. Right. This is where I said the Elon thing that Elon has to understand. And I think Charlie Kirk did an incredible job explaining. Elon is used to, as a CEO, to just give an order at SpaceX and it gets delivered. That's not how Congress works. And the hole that we're in, it's going to take some money to get out of that hole with different technologies. And so, yes, you cut here, but you're going to have to do some things and spend. But they're cutting the purse strings out from under him. Congress controls the purse strings, and that's why I'm concerned about the midterms. I really am. We have to maintain the House so that we can give President Trump the support to actually go bring new inventions and new ideas and tech in to fix things. You have to, because it doesn't just fix itself. There is no there's an auto pen. You can sign a whole bunch of pardons, but there's no autocorrect for culture.
And what is the first thing that they will do if they get the House back? Impeach President Trump.
Correct.
We're going to go through that whole circus all over again.
Why it was so crazy for a supposed friend to call for that the other day. I'm like, that's crazy.
I know.
And by the way, they'll impeach fans. They're just going to keep rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Slow them down. It's just time up, slow them down.
The only thing that, because I watched this and I'm like, you guys are handing us the midterms. If you want to wave American flags while standing on top of cop cars that you're burning, but that's not how it went in the summer of love, right? So does it make it different for Americans because these are invaders? I don't know, but that's the only thing that, because I see that and I'm like, slam dunk for us. But I thought that in 2020 and it wasn't. And so that's the only thing that gives me pause is like, how much are Americans willing to put up with people who shouldn't be here in the first place? And I think that that's going to be the key there too. I mean, hopefully we don't find out the hard way what that answer is. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We got less than a minute here. So I want to tell everyone, make sure that you check out first of all, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, but make sure that you check out the Come and Take It episode that I have coming out tomorrow. We are dropping it at noon Central, so 1 p.m. Eastern. And I had the unfortunate displeasure of attending another drag show for all ages, this time at a church. And that's just scratching the surface of what this church offered to its congregants. So make sure that you go check that out, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered YouTube, and check out the Come and Take It playlist. Also make sure that you are subscribed to these two gentlemen on YouTube, Matthew Marsden, Jaco Booyens, and we will see you guys tomorrow.